Mary here, and welcome to a new edition of Books and Cookies Book Talk. I'm here today to impart some wisdom upon you guys and tell you to stop feeling guilty over anything that is bookish related in your life. In case you don't remember or have not been around here for very long, about a year ago I actually did a video called Things that Readers Are Guilty About and Why They Should Stop. And I had promised back then that if I got enough ideas for a new video, I would do it. Well, let's just pretend that a year has not passed by. Here I am once again telling you guys to not feel guilty about the following things. Abandoning a book that you are just not feeling. So reading and you get through like 10, 20, maybe 50 pages and you're just not feeling this book at all. Perfectly okay to just drop it and pick something else up. Because life's too short to read books that we're not enjoying. You run the risk of going into a reading slump because you force yourself to read something that it's just not clicking. I abandoned books and I was just like off with their heads. I'd rather spend my time reading something that I'm actually enjoying instead of forcing myself to go through a book that it's just not happening. We should stop feeling guilty about not reading age-appropriate books, and I'm using the air quotes very, very vigorously here. I'm a firm believer that age is just a number, and the fact that a book is marketed towards middle grade or young adult or children's literature, just does not matter jack squat at all. Like, just not even a little bit. We should be reading the books that make us happy. We should be reading the books that make us want to keep reading. Don't feel guilty about the books that bring you joy. Stand up and proud and say, yes, I will read that. I will enjoy that. Stop feeling guilty for not reading. I know a lot of people that have times when they'd rather just be doing something else instead of reading. Reading is a huge part of our lives. Reading is something that makes us happy. But sometimes you just want to do other things. You want to go out and just hang out with friends. You want to cultivate some other hobbies like playing the guitar or knitting or whatever. Okay to do that and not read for a bit. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to Netflix and chill. Just because you enjoy reading, it doesn't mean that your life has to revolve wholeheartedly and completely around reading. It's your life. You have to enjoy a ton of things and it's your right to do that. So you should also learn to stop feeling guilty for neglecting books. What I'm referring to specifically are those books, you know what books I'm talking about. Those books that have been sitting on your shelf for a shit ton of time. Years, I'm talking. Books that you bought a long time ago and that you have just put aside for when the time is right, and the time just hasn't been right so far. It's okay to neglect them. It's okay to not pick them up in a time and place where you don't feel like you might enjoy them. Your books still love you. Your books will not abandon you if you don't read them immediately after you bought them. Stop feeling guilty if you sometimes neglect your responsibility and you just read instead of doing chores or things that are vital in a way to you. Sometimes life gets tough and it gets messy and it gets overwhelming, and it's okay to just take a little bit of time for yourself and ignore everything else and just read. If you can escape in a book world, if being there helps you get through and process some things, just do it. Stop feeling guilty for not buying your books and instead borrowing them from the library or from friends. You're still supporting the authors by doing that, and if you have friends that actually want to lend you their books, that's even more awesome because you get to talk about these books with someone and you get to share the experience with someone who has already been there. This is a huge issue, and what I've seen in the book community on Tumblr, there are a lot of people who feel the pressure to buy books constantly, and let's face it, sometimes that's not possible. Not everyone has the means or the budget to keep buying books over and over again, especially when it comes to new releases, which are usually quite expensive. No reason to feel guilty for trying other means of reading those books. As long as they're legal, that's just great. Don't feel guilty guilty for doing something that fits you and your life at this moment. We should not feel guilty for choosing a means of reading that fits us. Every person has the right to read the way that they want to. If I prefer e-readers, that's my option. If I like to read paperbacks, that's cool too. If I like to read hardbacks, that's cool too. If I love listening to audiobooks instead of reading, that's cool too. Absolutely no reason to feel guilty for choosing a means of reading that fits us in the best way possible. Last but not least, we should stop feeling guilty if we buy books in what's possibly not the best time, have other priorities like money-wise. And sometimes, as I mentioned before, life gets shitty, and sometimes we have the right to treat ourselves to a book. That's something that brings us joy and brings us a smile to our faces. If you've had a shitty day, it doesn't matter if you have other stuff going on. Don't feel guilty for wanting to pick yourself up a bit and go buy that book that you've been eyeing for a long, long time. Treat yourself and treat your shelf. I guess this is it for today. I'm sorry if this got a bit ranty at times. I just am a very, very firm advocate of the fact that everyone should be allowed to do and to live the way that they want to, as long as they're not doing any harm to anyone else. Be free, my child, be free. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I would love to hear if you have any other guilt reading related, and if you do, please share them down in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time. And remember, books for the soul, cookies for the tummy. Bye everyone!